Welcome to the channel. We're so glad you're here. We love you, and God bless you more. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update or new video from us. Stay tuned until the very end, because what you're about to watch might just be the breakthrough you've been paying for. Let's dive in together. You don't want to miss this. Dear, I want to have a discussion with you.
Of course. What is it?
I've noticed something lately. You have been giving so generously, which is good, but I can't help but wonder if it's a bit too much. We have our own financial responsibilities, yet you keep giving. I just feel like we should talk about it.
I understand your concern, but honestly, I don't know why I've been giving this way. The urge is beyond my understanding. It's like something inside me just compels me to give, and I can't seem to hold back.
That's exactly what worries me, dear. You have to do something about this urge of yours. You can't just keep giving like this without some control.
I hear you. I'll think about it. But right now, I need to get ready for a meeting at the church. I don't want to be late.
No problem. Go ahead. But please, just be careful and try to control this urge. You can't keep giving like this.
We'll talk more about it later. Material things don't make much sense to me anymore.
Mary, I just want to take a moment to thank you. The way you've been helping the church community, supporting those in need, and even giving so generously to the work of God, it's truly a blessing.
Sir, I just have this urge to give almost anything. Material things don't make much sense to me anymore, so I just feel willing to give.
That's a powerful sign, Mary. It's actually one of the signs that a new season is about to begin in your life.
A new season?
Yes. There are certain signs that indicate when God is shifting someone into a new season. What you're experiencing is one of them. Here are 5 signs that a new season is about to begin in your life. 1. Unusual urge to give. There are seasons in life when an unusual urge to give takes over, a deep, almost unexplainable desire to release what you have, whether it's money, time, or resources. It's not driven by external pressure or obligation, but by an inner compulsion that makes holding on to things feel meaningless. You may find yourself giving to those in need without a second thought, sowing into God's work with an open hand, or simply feeling that material possessions no longer hold the same value they once did. This is a powerful sign that God is shifting your focus from earthly possessions to kingdom investments. This shift often comes when God is preparing to take you into a new level of spiritual growth, influence, or breakthrough. He loosens your attachment to things that do not have eternal value and redirects your heart toward what truly matters: giving, serving, and investing in His kingdom. It's as if He is training you for a new level of stewardship, where you understand that what you have is not really yours but His, entrusted to you for a greater purpose. A powerful example of this in the Bible is the story of the rich young ruler, Mark 10:17-22. This man had everything: wealth, status, and a good reputation. Yet, when Jesus told him to sell all he had and give to the poor, he walked away sorrowful because his heart was too attached to his possessions. This shows that when God calls someone into a new season, He often tests their willingness to let go. Many miss out on what God has for them because they are too attached to what they currently have. When you feel an unusual urge to give, don't ignore it. It's a sign that God is shifting something in your life. He may be preparing you for greater blessings, positioning you for new opportunities, or deepening your faith. Remember, giving is never about losing. It's about making room for more of what God wants to pour into your life. When you release what's in your hand, you open yourself up to God's supernatural provision and divine direction. 2. Unusual urge to pray. There are moments in life when an unusual urge to pray takes over, a deep, unshakable longing to be in God's presence. It's not just about following a routine or fulfilling a religious obligation. It's something stronger, something supernatural. You may find yourself waking up in the middle of the night with an intense desire to pray, or feeling an unexplainable pull to step away from distractions just to commune with God. It's as if your spirit is being drawn into a deeper conversation with Him, beyond words and beyond what you even fully understand. This urge often comes right before a major shift in one's life. God begins to stir something within you, preparing your heart for a new season. He places a hunger inside you for more of Him, making prayer feel less like a duty and more like a necessity, just like breathing. You may not even have a specific request or burden, yet you feel compelled to kneel and pour out your heart before Him. This is a divine invitation, a sign that God is either about to reveal something new, shift your spiritual level, or prepare you for what's ahead. A perfect example of this in the Bible is Daniel. In Daniel 9, we see him develop an intense urge to pray and seek God. It wasn't just an ordinary prayer. He fasted, repented, and interceded passionately. This deep stirring in his spirit came right before God gave him revelation about Israel's future and the coming of the Messiah. His prayer wasn't just for himself but for an entire nation, showing that sometimes, when God calls us to deeper prayer, it's not just about us, it's about something much bigger. Another striking example is Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, Matthew 26, 36-46. On the night before his crucifixion, Jesus felt an overwhelming urge to pray. He withdrew from his disciples and prayed with such intensity that his sweat became like drops of blood. This was a pivotal moment. His earthly mission was about to reach its climax, and deep prayer was his preparation for the weight of what was coming. This shows that when God is about to shift you into something new, whether a promotion, a spiritual awakening, or even a difficult test, he will stir an unusual urgency to pray. 3. Unexplainable attacks. There are times in life when everything seems to be going well, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, unexplainable attacks begin to happen. You face opposition from unexpected places, people turn against you, doors that were once open suddenly close, and you find yourself battling spiritual warfare that you never anticipated. These attacks often don't make sense. They come at a time when you're walking in obedience, seeking God more, and pressing into His purpose. But here's the truth. The enemy senses your breakthrough before you do and tries to stop it. Whenever God is about to elevate you, the enemy reacts. He doesn't attack where there is no threat, he only fights those who are moving toward God's purpose. The attacks can come in different forms: financial struggles, relationship conflicts, mental and emotional battles, or even physical challenges. At times, it feels overwhelming, as if everything is working against you. But in reality, it's a sign that you are on the brink of a new season. Job was a righteous man who loved God, yet he faced intense attacks, losing his wealth, his children, and even his health. The enemy's goal was to break Job's faith and make him turn away from God. But what Job didn't realize at first was that his suffering was not a sign of God's absence but a sign of the greater glory ahead. In the end, God restored everything Job lost and gave him double for his trouble. Job 42:10. This shows that when attacks come, they are often a setup for a greater blessing. If you are facing unexplainable attacks, don't be discouraged. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you if you weren't carrying something valuable. Instead of retreating, press into God even more. Strengthen your prayer life, stand firm in your faith, and remember that the attacks are not a sign of your failure but a confirmation that your breakthrough is near. The enemy attacks what he fears, so take it as proof that something great is coming. 4. Prophetic encounters from God. There are seasons in life when God begins to speak more clearly than ever before, giving you prophetic encounters that signal a major shift is about to take place. These encounters may come through dreams, visions, divine revelations, or even unexpected messages from others. You may find yourself reading scripture and suddenly, a specific verse leaps off the page, speaking directly to your situation. At times, someone may unknowingly say something that confirms what God has already placed in your heart. These moments are not coincidences, they are God's way of preparing you for the new season ahead. Throughout the Bible, we see that before God shifts a person into a new level, He often reveals it prophetically. This is because He wants us to be aligned with His plans and walk into them with understanding. Prophetic encounters bring clarity, direction, and assurance that God is at work, even when we can't see the full picture yet. Joseph, as a young man, he had prophetic dreams showing that he would one day be in a position of great authority. Though he didn't fully understand them at the time, those dreams were a confirmation that God had a greater purpose for his life. However, before stepping into that destiny, Joseph went through betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. But because he had already received a prophetic glimpse of his future, he held on to hope, and in the end, God fulfilled His word. Joseph became second in command in Egypt. When you begin to experience prophetic encounters, it is a sign that God is revealing something about your future. It could be a call to ministry, a shift in your career, a divine connection, or even a new phase of spiritual growth. Pay close attention to these signs, write them down, pray over them, and ask God for discernment. Even if things don't make sense immediately, trust that God is setting things in motion. A prophetic word is not just information. It is an invitation to prepare for what is coming. 5. Restlessness and discomfort with the present season. There comes a time in life when everything that once felt comfortable begins to feel unsettling. The job you once loved, the routine you once enjoyed, the relationships that used to fulfill you, all of a sudden, they seem inadequate, unfulfilling, or even frustrating. It's not that anything is necessarily wrong, but deep within, there is a growing sense that you no longer fit where you are. This is a powerful sign that God is preparing you for a new season. This restlessness is not accidental, it is God stirring your spirit, making you dissatisfied with where you are so that you won't settle. Many times, before God moves us into the next level, He allows us to feel discomfort in our current place. If we remain too comfortable, we might never step into the new thing He has for us. Restlessness is God's way of pushing you forward. Exodus 2:11-15 Moses was raised as an Egyptian prince, with all the wealth, comfort, and privilege one could imagine. But as he grew older, he began to feel unsettled. His heart was drawn to his true people, the Israelites, even though he had been raised apart from them. Eventually, this inner discomfort led him to leave Egypt and begin the journey toward his true calling as a deliverer. God placed that restlessness inside him to prepare him for something greater. His restlessness pushed him to step into God's higher calling. If you have been feeling restless, unsettled, or out of place, don't ignore it. It may be a sign that God is calling you to something new. It could be a shift in your career, a transition in ministry, or even a deeper level in your spiritual life. Instead of resisting the discomfort, lean into it and seek God's direction. Ask Him, Lord, what are you trying to show me? He may be positioning you for an opportunity, a breakthrough, or a divine assignment that you could never have imagined.
I didn't even realize. I was just doing what felt right, thinking it was just ordinary. I never knew it meant something deeper.
That's how God works sometimes. But don't stop doing the good work. A new season is about to come, and you will see His hand in ways you never expected.
Wow. This makes me so happy. Thank you, Pastor.
Keep walking in obedience, Mary. God is preparing something special for you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.